Okay, today we're going to make a 1-point perspective landscape drawing to create the illusion of space. And the reason why we're concentrating on space is because space is the 7th element of art, after line, shape, color, value, form, and texture. And space has a couple of definitions. Space can refer to the area in and around different objects. It also, though, can refer to the feeling of depth within an artwork. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create that illusion that the viewer is seeing a road go way, 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 way far in advance to 1 point in the distance. In order to do this project, what you're going to need is a blank piece of paper. You're also going to need a pencil with an eraser and a ruler. You're also going to need some sort of black marker or Sharpie or felt tip pen to outline our lines, and crayons to color it in. Okay. In order to get started, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw a bunch of different lines upon our page. But first, let's lay it down in landscape orientation, meaning it's wide and fat. Then what you're going to do is put a pincher at the top, pincher at the bottom, and we are going to bring that top pincher down to the bottom pincher and fold our paper in half from top to bottom, so it has this kind of long hot dog fold. Then once you have that, you can unfold it, and that's going to create what's called our horizon line. The horizon line in a landscape refers to the line at which the land meets the sky. Okay, so we're going to need that line. So what you can do is, along that fold with your ruler and pencil, you can very lightly draw a line across the page on that fold to create our official horizon line. Nice. Okay, then what we're going to do is you're going to take your pinchers on either side, and you are going to bring one pincher over to the next to fold it in half from side to side, and you can crease. Once you've had it folded in half, you can open it up, and the point at which that center fold meets our horizon line, what you are going to do is you are going to take your pencil and you're just going to draw a little dot or point. This is what we're going to call our vanishing point. And the vanishing point is the point at which all things in your picture are going to go towards in the distance. So it's almost as if things are going so far into the distance that it all vanishes at a certain point. That's going to be our vanishing point. We're going to use this to draw our different elements of our landscape. Okay, so we have our horizon line, we have our vanishing point. What we're also going to do is we're going to take our ruler and we are going to find the corner, the half corner of one of the top edges of our paper, and we're going to line up our ruler from that edge and right in the middle of the edge and line it up to that vanishing point. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a line diagonally from the corner edge of our paper down and hitting that vanishing point. Okay, we're going to do the same thing in this corner as well. So lining up your ruler at the corner edge and at the vanishing point, and draw a line. Okay, let's do that 2 more times, lining up the ruler with this bottom corner edge and the vanishing point, drawing a line, and the last one, lining it up with the vanishing point and the corner edge, drawing a line. So you should have a big X crisscrossing your page, meeting in the center at that vanishing point. Okay, we are going to be using these lines as our boundaries of where we're going to put our different parts of our landscape. So it's very important to see these lines. Okay, so now that we have these lines, let's create the sidewalks or the tree line area and our street in the middle. So what we're going to do is you want to figure out how wide you want your street to be once it gets to the bottom of the page. So just with your fingers, figure out how wide you want your street to end up and make a dot on one edge of where the one side of your street's gonna be on one side of your paper, and then another dot where it's gonna end up on this side of the paper. So 1, 2. Then what we're gonna do is take your ruler, line up from the vanishing point, that center dot, to the dot at the bottom of the page of what we just made for the side of our road. And you can draw that line from the vanishing point straight down to that dot. That's the one side of our street, and then we're gonna do it to the other side of our street, lining up our ruler with our vanishing point and the dot at the bottom of our page, and make a line. So that is going to be our center street, okay? And on either side, we can have that area be just the sort of grassy, tree-lined area. Okay, but we need to create the lines in the road. And as you can kind of see, the lines in the road get smaller and smaller and smaller as they go, and narrower as they go towards that vanishing point. So in order to draw the sides of the stripes in our road, you can figure out, again, how kind of wide you want your yellow dot or yellow stripe to be at the bottom of your road. Say I want them to end up being that wide, so I make 2 dots, one on either side of that center fold. And you guessed it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up my ruler to that vanishing point, line it up to the dot that I just made, draw a line. Okay, I'm gonna do that to my other side, my other dot of the other side of the yellow stripes, line up my ruler with that vanishing point and the dot, and draw a line. Okay, but our street yellow lines are dashed lines. It's not a straight line. So in order to do that, what I'm gonna just do is I'm gonna draw some horizontal lines that go across the 2 lines that I just made to cut off little stripes in the road. So I'm gonna do a horizontal line there, go a little bit up, horizontal line there. But now I'm gonna make the distance between my horizontal lines even narrower. So these are more together as it goes down. The lines are getting closer together like that, okay? So now that I have these lines, I can erase the lines on the side so that I have that nice dashed line effect. Okay, so every other little rectangle you can erase to create that striped dashed line. Cool. All right, so on this side of our street, we are going to have our trees. So in between our horizon line and this diagonal line that cuts this little corner, we can create the scalloped lines of the leaves of our trees. So anywhere in between the horizon line on this side and this diagonal line, we're gonna draw some scalloped lines. So do not make the tops of your trees go above this diagonal line. We're gonna keep it in this little wedge. So right below this diagonal line right here, I'm gonna start drawing the scalloped lines of my trees. But as I go down towards the vanishing point, I'm making the scallops smaller and smaller and narrower, as if they're getting smaller and smaller into the distance. Okay, that's the top of my trees. Then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side for the bottom of my trees, keeping it above that horizon line. So I can make my scallops large, but then getting smaller and closer together, smaller, 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 way in the distance. Okay, now I'm gonna draw the trunks of my trees. And it's the same sort of thing as well. The trunks of the trees look large and wider towards the edge of the page, and then they get narrower and closer together as they get towards the vanishing point. So just from the bottom of your tree scalloped lines, you can bring a line down for the trunk of the tree and hit that diagonal line, stopping at that diagonal line. Then giving a little space in between the trees, another line, 2 curved lines for the trunks. Then getting a little bit narrower and closer together, and keep drawing the trunk lines, but having them get smaller and closer together as you get towards that vanishing point. Awesome. So we have this side of our landscape done. Let's concentrate on doing the buildings. Now the buildings look complicated, but they're pretty easy once you get the hang of it. What we're going to do is, for the sides of our buildings, we are just going to draw vertical line from this diagonal line down to this diagonal line that hits the corner. So for the first sort of side of my building, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a vertical line going down from this diagonal line to this diagonal line that ends in the corner. So take your ruler, draw that vertical line. That's the side of my building. Then I want to figure out how wide I want it to be. Say I want it to be about that wide. So I'm going to move my ruler over and then draw a vertical line, again, from this diagonal line, stopping at the one below. Okay, that's one side of my building. Then I want to shift over. I'm going to do this side of my building. I'm ignoring this side right now, but I'm concentrating on this side. So I'm just going to move my ruler over a little bit. Say I want my next building to start here. I can draw a little dot where I want it to start again. And then I'm going to draw that vertical line, again, down from the diagonal line here to stopping at this one here. That's one side of my building. I'm going to do another one. So I'm going to shift it over to how wide I want my building to be. Maybe I want it to be that wide. I can make a little dot on my diagonal line and then draw that vertical line again from this top diagonal line to the bottom diagonal line. We can do one more side just of the building in the corner. So however wide you want it to be. I'm just going to take my ruler again, make a vertical line from this top diagonal line to this bottom diagonal line. Okay, but in between we have these sides of the building showing. So since this is the part of my building that's facing the street, I'm gonna erase where the horizon line is on this side. And I'm also going to erase it on this side as well. And from just this corner of my building, the corner that hits this diagonal line, I'm going to draw a vertical line just from that point across until it hits my vertical line right next to it. Creates a sort of triangle. We are going to erase the part of that diagonal line to create the building that's facing the street and the side that's not. We're going to do the same thing for this one, except the corner of where we're going to draw that horizontal line is up here. So this is the side that's facing the street. This top corner right here, we're just going to draw a horizontal line across and erase that diagonal line above. Okay, and any of the horizon line that's cutting off your buildings. You can erase whatever you don't need down the middle. And there we have our buildings on this side. And you can draw little details like doors. Again, the doors becoming larger as they get closer and closer to the sides of the page. And you can also draw windows. Again, getting larger as they get towards the edge of the page. Nice. And all we have now to do are little details of the clouds. So you can draw some clouds in this triangular space above, but the clouds start getting smaller and closer together as they go towards that vanishing point. So you can make your clouds larger towards the edge of your page, but as they go down closer to that vanishing point, they're getting smaller and smaller. Okay, so you can also erase any of the diagonal lines now that you don't need. So we can erase this line above our scalloped lines and just add little grass detail lines wherever you would like. And once you have everything drawn out, I'm going to go into Warp Speed to show you how to outline everything. We're going to outline everything in that dark black marker, and then once we outline, you can use the crayons to color it in. So I'm going to go into Warp Speed to show you how to outline everything and then color it in. Okay, now I've colored in my 1-point perspective landscape drawing and I'm all done. So friends, again, if you need more time with this, take your time. You can always watch the video at your own pace on Schoology after our Zoom. But I hope you had fun doing this lesson and I can't wait to see yours.